What's going on, everybody? Cody here with another episode of Everybody's Top 3. Today, we are going to do top 3 documentaries. It's just me and Kristen on this one.
Yeah.
What's your number 3 documentary, Kristen?
Okay. So, do you remember Super Size Me? That dude that ate McDonald's every day for however
Morgan
long?
Spurlock, yeah.
Yes. So, I'm doing Super Size Me 2 Holy Chicken. Have you seen that one?
No, I didn't know he'd made a second one. I know, I've seen a few of his other documentaries, though.
Yeah, well, so this doc came out on Netflix September 6, 2019. It came out in Canada first in 2017. But yeah, it's Morgan Spurlock. Is that it?
Yeah, Morgan Spurlock.
Okay, so basically the second one's about, he noticed after his first one that fast food chains would make their shit seem healthier now. After that, so our chickens, I don't know how they would word it.
Non-GMO.
Right.
We only use all natural stuff and shit like that.
So he realized they're still just bullshitting everyone. So he went through the process of starting his own chicken chain, his own chicken restaurant, and he raised his own chickens, which he then realized how hard it is now to raise your own chickens because it's Tyson and Purdue. There's 4 main ones that run the thing and fuck over the little farms that try to do their own shit. And then they keep everything on the down low. He went to a chicken farm and he learned and he raised his own chickens for this restaurant with these farmers. And they could not say Tyson's name. They explained how they didn't get paid most of the time. Tyson really fucks people over. And that's basically what he unfolded in this documentary. And then the way he realized advertisement gets people to come, so he made everything flashy. His restaurant looked dope. It was lime green. The color scheme was perfect. The animation of the chicken, what he did, the way he worded shit.
Did he only sell chicken? What else did he sell?
Just chicken sandwiches, chicken fries. It was a normal restaurant, but it was chicken. No
just
burgers.
Yeah, and it was probably crazy expensive.
Yeah, and the way he worded, he's funny, the way he knew what he was doing, but he seemed so genuine. When everyone would come in, it was in Ohio. It's no longer there. It didn't last long because he got in big trouble. They got fined for exposing Tyson because they wouldn't say Tyson, but they kept hitting at it, and then Tyson, I'm pretty sure, sued them.
Yeah, probably gave it for liability or slander or whatever it's called.
And he felt, I think, the one farm, because he talked to multiple farms, little ones that raise chickens, and I think one of them got in trouble too because they were scared to even talk about any situation. He's we already don't get paid half the time. I don't want to discuss this. They were all sketchy about what they can say, what they do, and he literally he shows the process of raising these chickens, slaughtering them, how gross it is. Nothing changed. He didn't change anything to make it more healthy. He just lied, but he showed how you can get away with it and how all these big corporations get away with it to make you believe that it's healthier when nothing fucking changes.
So did he just have his own free range chickens?
Yeah.
Did he slaughter them himself and everything, or he didn't send them off to slaughter?
He did send them off. Yeah, he put them on I remember watching. Yeah, because then he explained how many are dead and what happens to them health wise and how they're still gross and how nothing changes due to yeah, it was a fucked up doc, and it almost ruined chicken for me, but it didn't because I fucking love it.
Yeah, nothing's gonna ruin chicken for me. I was I've considered getting chickens.
Really?
On my own, yeah, building a chicken coop
My
out
dad
back.
did. My dad had, when I lived with him, he had 2 pigs, a cow, and a few chickens, and it's just
they eat a lot of ticks, and they're immune to Lyme disease.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it'd be good for, just since I have a dog here, so she doesn't get Lyme disease again. She's already got it twice because there's fucking ticks everywhere.
Yeah, you live up in the woods.
But yeah, that's one thing I was thinking. And I eat a lot of eggs. I like eggs, so it would be cool to just get my own eggs. But the thing is, I know people who have chickens, and they produce so many fucking eggs.
Yeah.
People literally have to give them away. I know people who have gotten chickens and been I could sell these and make money, but they just get so much fucking eggs that they don't even sell them anymore. They're just I just want to get rid of all these fucking eggs. We literally
ate eggs all the fucking time when my dad had chickens. But now my dad just pays for a cow and a pig and gets it slaughtered. Someone else takes care of them, a friend, and then they have meat for a year. That's the way to go.
Yeah, that's what my parents have done in the past.
Yeah, they have a huge ice box, the box freezer outside, and then it's full of meat.
Yep.
They give it to me,
Yeah, and we were discussing doing that when the pandemic started. We were discussing buying a fucking cow, but we would have had to get one of those box freezers because neither of us, me and my parents, we were gonna go halves on it, and neither of us had room for it.
Yeah,
and I kept saying I'll get a freezer, but then never did. And
yeah,
it was just something. Really, it was just something that we discussed and never did anything about. Like we were just like, this might be a good idea, but then we just didn't do it.
My dad and stepmom, she's a crazy bit, but they're smart. Like, they love, that's my dad's dream, living off land and stuff. Like, they lived in a camper for very long. They just redid a house, like a double wide, but they still live off land. Like, they have a huge ass garden. They, like, do the cow and pig thing and chickens. Like, that's the way, and they save so much money. They have so much money, and they just, like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's something that I've always thought about, too. It's why I started the garden, considered getting chickens and, you know, all that nonsense.
But the Super Size Me 2 thing, I was looking up before we started this, and I screenshot it, that because someone asked if it's still open, and the whole Ohio one's not, and he moved it to New York to coincide with the film's release. And then his family was punished financially for revealing the industry secret to Spurlock. But the article's like headline says, despite sexual misconduct confession, Morgan Spurlock supersized me, and then it like cuts off.
So it ends with him being a sexual predator? Is that what you're saying?
I was like, whoa. But I didn't read into it because it wouldn't load. But I was like, okay. I could see that. He has that demeanor, though. He's a little weird. But like, yeah.
He's one of the greatest documentary filmmakers.
Dude, the first Super Size Me, like, yeah, they're good.
His documentary about Comic-Con was really good.
I've never seen him.
He had another documentary where he wanted to explore advertising and filmmaking. It's called The Greatest Film Ever Sold, and he tried to get advertisers to pay for like sponsors. He tried to get advertisers to pay. He tried to get sponsors to pay for the movie that was about getting sponsors for movies. So the whole movie was like about him like pitching his ideas to big advertising companies and try and get them to advertise for this movie.
Did it work?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think so. I haven't watched it in a really long time.
He's very dedicated.
You know who Doug Benson is? Mm-mm. He's a stand-up comedian. He smokes a lot of pot. He's like a pothead comedian. He started doing, after Super Size Me, he made a movie called Super High Me, where he went 30 days without smoking pot, and then he went 30 days, like literally everything he ate had weed in it.
Oh.
He smoked every day. He like gave himself like a schedule of like you have to eat or smoke weed at this point. And he went 30 days that way, and he did like a bunch of psychological tests and shit and like physical tests to see what kind of effect it had on him.
I want to see that. Is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty funny. But after that, he's like, I'm just gonna start doing movies. A bunch of documentaries based on Morgan Spurlock documentaries.
Oh.
So he's got Super High Me, and then he's got Comic-Con episode 420 and the greatest movie related. Ever rolled. Yeah, everything was all about fucking all of it. Everything Doug Benson does is about smoking pot. So he just made pothead documentaries based off of Morgan Spurlock documentaries.
Wow, are they friends in real life? Do they know each other?
Well, in his Comic-Con thing of Morgan Spurlock, he said, like, I'm going to hunt down Morgan Spurlock at Comic-Con and tell him my plan of doing all of his movies. And he does. He finds him and they talk for a little bit. And he's cool with it. I don't think Morgan Spurlock doesn't give a shit. Like,
yeah, I like his personality, like with anything, when he's like trying to get information, he's just like very professional, but like smart. Like he has the perfect personality to do what he's doing.
Yeah, and he's wildly entertaining.
Yes,
he's very entertaining, and like with I could compare him to like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and like why Neil deGrasse Tyson got so big, doing like even though he's just doing something that's usually conventionally considered boring, he made it entertaining because he's just an entertaining person to listen to and hear talk about things.
He honestly, Morgan reminds me of that dude that's works for Trevor Noah and goes around and talks to like the Trump supporters to try to like the same personality, like the sarcasm, but knowing what they're talking about thing, like they do the same thing.
Right.
I like that. But Super Size Me 2 was a pretty good doc if you want to learn about how how fast food restaurants fuck you over to make you think they're healthy when they're not. But yeah, so what's your number 3, bro?
My number 3 is a movie called Knuckle. It came out in 2011, I think, and it's about Irish travelers in the UK, obviously, and it's this Irish filmmaker who started following these gypsy families. There were three separate families. He followed them for 12 years. Starting in 1997. Every 3 months he would just go stay with them and follow them with cameras every once in a while. Ugh. And these gypsies were all involved in this underground boxing, bare knuckle boxing.
Oh my god.
Feud. They had like this crazy feud where they kind of explained the feud a little bit, but a lot of like the families refused to explain the feud to the filmmaker, like where it started.
Like you don't.
But it started in 1992, and like one of the members of the family ended up getting killed. Well, two of the members of one family ended up getting killed, and it just started this feud between these three families. I guess there's a lot of families involved. They just named a bunch of every couple of minutes in this movie, they'd be like, well, now the McGinleys are getting involved and the Collinses they want to fight. The Collinses want to fight the Joyces now, but they would just hold these underground bare knuckle boxing tournaments, or just not even tournaments, just fights.
So someone died boxing.
No, the guy got stabbed to death in a bar or something.
Oh, okay.
But it's even before that, because that happened in the 90s. Even before that, all of these traveler families would hold these underground bare knuckle boxing matches, and they would just bet on all the families would get all their money together, and they would bet on their guy. And that's how, part of how they would make money would just have these underground bare knuckle boxing matches.
How popular were these gypsies? Like, how far did they travel?
Well, it's
how
just
popular were they?
They weren't popular. They were just gypsies. Nobody had ever really shown them, put a light on them until this movie came out. And some videos got released to YouTube. They still post videos. These families still post videos on YouTube. Of their fights, of their bare knuckle fights. Damn. After this movie came out, they started going to YouTube. So what these families would do, even in the 90s, they all had cameras, and they would literally film shit of them, like the Joyces would film themselves talking shit about the McDonald's or the Quinn McDonald's, and they would just send these tapes back and forth to each other of them talking shit to each other, and then at the end of the video, one of them would challenge the other one and be like, "I'm gonna take the main guy his name was James Quinn McDonald. He's like, I can beat James Quinn McDonald," and I was this close to just doing an accent right there, but these guys, their accent is so insane. Literally they're speaking English, but everything that they say has to be subtitled in the movie. Everything. And when they're fucking talking, the subtitles are always a small portion of what they're saying. It's always they're going on, and it's English. You're kind of hearing words that you fucking.
That's funny.
It's insane, and yeah, and it's just about these three families that are in this kind of weird triangle of what these two families are feuding. The Joyces and the Quinn McDonalds are feuding because apparently a Quinn McDonald killed a Joyce in 92, and then the Nevins are another family that have a problem. They don't really have a problem with the Quinn McDonalds, but the main Quinn McDonald, James Quinn McDonald, beat the shit out of the main Nevin. His name was I didn't write his name down, I don't think. But either way, and then his son, Davey Nevin wants to, James Quinn McDonald beat the father Nevin, and now the son Nevin wants to come back and fight the James Quinn McDonald for his father's fucking honor. And it's just, it's insane shit, man.
Now they do Zoom calls instead of random videos.
No, they just post the videos on YouTube now.
Oh,
they just call each other. Yeah, they just call each other out on YouTube now. And but back then, in the 90s, they would have those big box cameras with tapes and fucking film. They would just film each other fucking talking shit about the other family and trying to goad them into fucking fighting each other.
That made me feel old.
What, talking about the 90s?
Talking about that camera. My mom used to have one of those.
Right.
That's fucking weird. There's so many things recently that people have brought up that was back when we were a kid, and I'm like, wow.
I mean,
this
movie was made. Were you born 96?
95.
So you were only 2 when this guy started filming this movie.
That's
Like, it's crazy. And then you were 14 by the time he was done. Isn't that, like, it's just crazy that the guy would just go back for 12 years to make this fucking movie.
Didn't TLC or whatever like that do a thing on gypsies for a while? Not about
My Big
them.
Fat Gypsy Wedding.
Yeah, and shit like, that's when
they marry each other's cousins and shit. And they mentioned that in this too. Like, I guess I should say that. The Quinn McDonalds and the Joyces and the Nevins, they're all fucking related.
Oh, word.
They're all cousins. Like, at one point in the middle of the movie, they start talking to, like, the women in the family, and the women are like, yeah, he's fighting this Nevin, and his father is actually my uncle, and his mother's my cousin, and, like, they're all these fucking traveler families in the UK. They're all fucking related, and they're all constantly marrying each other off like it's the fucking 1600s, and fist fighting each other for their father's honor.
Dude.
And yeah, it's still going on.
Family.
You can go. I didn't realize this.
That's why I don't like family. No, I'm kidding.
But I didn't realize this until I watched the movie again yesterday.
Oh.
And I could only find it on YouTube. And while I was looking for it on YouTube, I found these fucking families' names like in like the YouTubes of like, this is the Nevin bare knuckle fight from 2017.
When did you watch the doc originally?
When it first came out in like 2011, 2012.
So you were like,
it was on Netflix for like. Yo. When Netflix first started streaming, it was one of like the first documentaries they put on it.
So this is either going to make me sound really retarded, which is a common occurrence, or whatever. But for the longest time when I was little, I thought gypsies were like Jasmine on Aladdin. You know what I mean? Like, and then I see that shit on TLC and I'm like, this isn't a gypsy.
They're
and
just
then I'm
white
like,
trash.
oh, word. Yeah.
It's just white trash. That's all it is.
But am I crazy to think that gypsies were like...
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, like, movies and stuff would kind of make gypsies seem like these magical fucking
Red Dead does. When you do those gypsy missions.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So that's kind of like what I always thought they were. And then I watched that shit on TLC. What they are is
they're... I mean, I think this is racist to say, but they're thieves.
Oh, no.
They're thieves. That's what they are. They're con artists.
Yeah.
They're con men. Yeah. And that's something they bring up in the movie too. They talk about how like he won't, like they won't talk like when the filmmaker asks them about what they do for a living, they're really vague about it.
They're like, we steal.
Like, oh yeah, I work construction, and oh well, what kind of construction? Oh, you know, construction.
The best kind of
construction. Yeah, like it's just they're really vague. They won't like give away like their business practices and stuff because most of the time it's dirty. It's not like they're criminals. Their gypsies are criminals.
That's not racist. Those are just facts. That's their way of living. That's part of it. So,
that's something I guess they talk about on that My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. Yes. Where at whatever venue they have, they steal all the silverware and shit like that. Like they just steal stuff from the venue. That's just the life that they've always lived. That's why they're called travelers, because they basically they put their campers in an area that they kind of inhabit for a while, and then they go into like whatever local town that is, and they basically develop this fucking reputation for being bad people. So then they pack up all their shit and move to a different area and start doing the same thing in another town. But now they're fucking known as like, everybody knows, oh, those are the travelers. Watch out, they'll steal your shit.
I low-key want to be a gypsy, but not with family, you know? Like, I'm not into the incest part of it. But, like, just traveling and then, like, being known to be bad, like, in a town, like, that's kind of dope. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, I guess.
Not
bunch
really
of
the
fucking thieves.
Gotta do what you gotta do. There was this... They're not homeless. They live in a van, but in Horseheads, like, in that plaza in which I work at. They were, like, they had a dog, clean as fuck. They were pretty clean, but they looked like hippie homeless people.
They always seem to have dogs, too.
Yeah, and they were like, help us eat and stuff. Like, they're just kind of lying to get stuff. Because they had, like, a picnic. Hobos. They had, like, a picnic. This dog was fine. Like, they were all fed. And it's just like, I kind of want to do this. Like, let's just fucking travel and then bum shit off people. Nah. But, But for real, I always thought gypsies.
That was my number 3. About bare knuckle fighting gypsies.
I probably don't want to watch that because I don't care about that, but that's hilarious.
Some of the fights are pretty brutal too.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
One of the fights in it lasted 2.5 hours long.
You want to know what I think of when I think of bad fights? And it's a scene in a movie. I'm never gonna talk about it probably, so I'll mention it. In Django Unchained, when they had to fight to death.
Yeah.
That literally triggers me every time I watch. Like, I can't watch it. Like, I'm like sick when I watch that. That's just awful to know that they really did that. Like, that definitely happened.
Probably.
That's fucked up. That's
Maybe.
disgusting. And they're very like detailed in the movie, and I'm like, stop. I don't want to see this. A lot of actually, when the dog is seen, well, they're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about that on a different episode. But okay, so my number two, don't fuck with cats. Hunting and internet
hate
killer.
That movie. That series.
Why? Oh, because the bitch at
just
the
because
end?
of the end. Yeah.
I agree.
Completely ruined the whole fucking movie for me, and it made me hate the people who made it, and it especially made me hate that fat cunt.
Dude, same, but that's funny. So anyways, the dude was arrested. His name was Luca Magnotta. Happened in Canada, and he got arrested in 2012 in Montreal. And basically, so the doc starts out as like a video that he recorded in his bedroom. I'm gonna say it. He puts like 2 kittens in a fucking bag and he suffocates them. He takes the air out of it. And that's how it starts. And I remember when I first watched it, Kaylin like walks in and he sees that and he's like, nope, and walks out.
It's such a weird way to kill cats.
Yeah. Well, he like fantasized and idolized like serial killers, like his mom, who's still in denial that he did all this, even though there's proof, like video proof
of him doing it.
Yeah. She's like, oh yeah, he has posters all over his room.
She's
of
delusional.
These serial killer movies.
She's fucking delusional.
But basically, he did a lot of videos of him killing animals, which was like, if you watched Halloween or any doc, that's like a early sign of being a murderer or serial killer in the future. And so basically, he did all but he did it to trigger this Facebook page that the bitch at the end that you hate created with, I think, a dude named Mike. He had a comment.
I don't know, some other nerd.
Yeah, so they created
that guy
this
was
page.
Like, you know what that guy looked like? He looked like the fucking. Did you watch The Tiger King?
No.
You didn't watch
There's
that?
way too much hype about it, and I'm against doing things that are hyped up, which you are too, and I'm shocked you watch that shit.
I watched it before the hype, goddammit. I'm pulling my hipster out. Yeah, I'm pulling my hipster out right now.
You a trendsetter.
But no, well, there's the guy. There's a girl. There's a lady in that who's married to a guy that's clearly like just her like puppet, basically, and he looks a lot like that guy.
The guy that was on, everyone said was the Call of Duty person.
What?
You remember when Call of Duty made that character?
No, that guy was that guy was a slave to another guy.
Oh, my bad. Okay, I guess I need to watch Tiger King.
It's a good documentary series. It's pretty fucking funny.
It's just dumb, and she's so popular on TikTok. Anyways.
Yeah, that girl. That lady.
Okay.
That lady's husband.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
He looks exactly like the fucking dork in the
That's funny.
Don't Fuck With Cats. They look like the same fucking guy. And both of them look like they never get laid.
Facts. So, anywho.
I will say the best part about Don't Fuck With Cats is when they like meet up and he clearly is like in love with that fat cunt.
Oh, really? So I don't remember that.
Yeah, they don't. It doesn't happen. I don't think it happens on fucking screen, but they talk about it.
Oh, probably.
And he's clearly like in love with her, and she's clearly like, I don't want anything to do with you.
I ignore it. I don't know. When I watch things, a lot of times I get distracted, like I go smoke or something, or I'm high, and then I just like zone out. Anyways, so this Luca dude kills a bunch of animals, but he knows he's like famous on this Facebook page. So he leaves hints everywhere. He triggers them by uploading these videos. And this girl, the fat cunt, in which Cody has explained and talked about.
Who knows what her name is? It's just fat cunt.
Yeah. She gets she cries talking about it, whatever. And then finally he finds a victim of a dude because he has this plan that is like what's in a movie, right? We talked about this.
Yeah. I always want to say Cruel Intentions, but it's not Cruel Intentions. Basic Instinct.
Okay, yeah. So what he does eventually is he kills a dog. It's usually cats. So one of the best ways he kills a cat, which I would never do, I love animals, was with a snake, dude.
I was gonna say that's the best way.
Yeah.
I forgot that he killed a dog.
Yeah, so this is why I remember this, because it's weird how our minds work. So this detective, kills this dude on video with an ice pick, like a ice pick, right? It's called the ice. They call it. The video was called the ice pick killer or some. He names
it was an ice pick.
Yeah, and he kills the dude with it, stabs him numerous times all over, decapitates him, cuts off all his limbs because he has a plan. But anyways, so when this detective, she was a woman, he did it in a hotel, and he threw away his clothes, and he did it weird to try to get away with it, but it was all on camera, and then all of it was in the garbage outside his body, but the limbs not so much, or the head.
Don't you get the feeling that he wasn't trying to get away with it? He kind of was.
He
but
wanted the attention,
wasn't.
and I think he just didn't have any self-control. He knew he was getting popular, and maybe he wanted to be known. I think maybe he wanted to be known because he tried to be a model, tried to be an actor. Everyone turned him down. And then,
well, I can be a serial killer.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'll do this because he already idolized and wanted, he already idolized these serial killers, the mom explained, but still is in denial. So anyways, kills this person, and the detective's talking about it, and she talks about how in the video he takes the head in the bathtub full of water and just twirls it, all nonchalant, talking about this shit. And then she's like, and then the camera goes over to the dog, and then she starts tearing up. I'm like, you just talked about this dude's head in the bathtub just chilling, he's playing with it, but then you can't see the dog die.
Yeah, but the dude was Asian, so maybe she knew he was gonna fucking cause the coronavirus in a couple of years.
Dude, that's fucking funny. I get how animals and kids are innocent, and I get that, but I feel it's still hard to see both. I don't when you explain that video in the last one about those people hammer
beating
thing,
the guys to death with the hammer.
Yeah, I feel she'd been cool to talk about that. But when the dog thing, because he stabbed the dog too with the ice pick. Yeah. So anyways, he sends all the limbs of this dude that he killed to the prime minister. He sends the head, I think, to the prime minister, and then the other stuff to other important people in Canada, and then he gets arrested and caught. And yeah,
just thinking about that, I feel I don't know. I'd feel really, really uncomfortable watching a man kill another man. Well, I've seen it, so I have.
You've witnessed it.
Yeah, I've seen the videos. I have done it, and it makes me very, very uncomfortable. But I feel watching somebody kill a dog it would make me so angry.
Because they can't defend. I get it.
I would be oh, I'm so fucking mad right now. But even the fucking video of the kids beating the guy to death with a hammer, he couldn't defend himself.
Facts.
I don't know if I brought it up in that video, but he was a cancer patient. He had no strength or anything.
You didn't say that.
I don't think I brought that up. But he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't somebody who could defend himself either. Just like a dog. But it's still, for some reason, if I see when I see that, I'm oh, that's terrible. I don't want to watch it. It makes me really uncomfortable. Well, I feel seeing somebody do that to a dog would just make me viscerally angry. Make me that I don't necessarily feel with watching a dude die.
I guess it was just weird how her emotions were polar opposites, talking about she literally was talking about the dude's head just twirling nonchalant, okay, and then she starts tearing up about the dog, and I'm just dude, they're both uncomfortable. I can't watch Saw because that's fake and it's still uncomfortable.
Could you imagine Saw but with dogs?
Bro, that's a good idea. That will there's an audience to that.
People would get so mad. No, there wouldn't even be an audience. People love watching people die in Saw, but if you made that and it was just dogs, people would be outside protesting. You cannot do this.
Dude, that makes me want to do it more. Fuck y'all. No, that I get it. Even with kids, when I talked about the Night Stalker and him a lot of his victims were the kids. That is hard because they're innocent and they can't defend themselves, but as a detective, I feel you kind of just have to be strong through that. I don't know. It was just funny how she had a huge fit over the dog. Dog was cute though. I will give her that. It was a pretty fucking dog. Dead now, R.I.P. But yeah, I don't know. But what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Class Action Park. Did you watch that one?
No.
It also got quite a bit of hype when it first came out.
That's probably why.
I think actually that might have came out in 2020. Maybe 2019.
Oh, I haven't watched Netflix until recently when we got
this. Is HBO.
Oh, I just got that, so no.
But it's about an amusement park, a water park called Action Park that was in New Jersey.
I know what you're talking about though. Yeah. I saw this on TikTok actually.
It's great. It's a really fucking great documentary if you fucking want to watch it.
I probably will, actually.
But it was built on a ski slope, and there's 2 like sections built on each side of a highway, and on one side of the highway was the water park, and on the other side was it was called Motor World, where they would have bumper boats and like racing boats and go-karts and shit. And basically this whole fucking park was just ran by like 14 to 17-year-old kids, because the owner of the park, his name was Gene, and he would hire these fucking kids for the summer that were just, needed a summer job.
Like carnies type situation.
Yeah, and then he just would just hang out at the park and let them do whatever the fuck they wanted. Like, there was nobody watching them. And he would fucking he would design his own rides, and he was like a Wall Street guy. He didn't know how to design rides. He wasn't a fucking engineer.
Oh my God.
So he would just make these rides that were ridiculously dangerous. They had a ride called the Cannonball Loop.
Yes, I know what we're talking about.
And he would just before he was able to open it, he wanted to test it. So he would pay the teenagers that were working at the park $100 for anybody who would go down it. And it's an enclosed water slide. So you literally go into nothing. You just go into blackness. And then at the bottom of it, it goes straight down, like almost straight down, like you get a bunch of speed. And at the bottom of it, there's just a loop.
Yes.
That you don't see coming because it's pitch black in the fucking thing. So you just go up, and I guess you would get air. And the first couple of kids that went down it smashed their faces on the fucking, while doing the loop, and came out like missing teeth. Like their fucking faces all bloody and shit. So they were like, okay, we got to slow down the water pressure so the kids slow down and maybe they won't smash their faces. So they sent a couple other kids through it, and they kept coming out with like severe lacerations on their back.
Oh my God.
So they opened up the fucking loop to look in, and it was the other kids' teeth stuck in the fucking stuck in the loop, just kept cutting the next kids up.
Oh my God, I hate teeth and eyes, so this is triggering as fuck.
But it's fucking wild. And they had a wave pool that was like the most intense wave pool ever, and they literally had a portion of it that they would call the death zone. And it would get so filled with like blood and like piss and fucking runoff from the stream that it would get so dark that you couldn't see, that they would have to make everybody leave to see if there was somebody floating at the bottom of it.
Bro.
Because people would just die in it all the time.
Oh my God.
Like every year people would die at this fucking place.
How long was this open?
Oh, I don't remember. I didn't write that down.
I've seen multiple things about this on TikTok, so I think it is recent when this came out.
Yeah, it was like 2020 or the end of 2019.
Yeah, I've seen the Cannonball, the whatever loop thing before, but I've never watched it. I'm gonna watch it.
It's really fucking good. It's a really good documentary, and they fucking what was I gonna say? The guy who founded it, he like made up, to have a water park you have to have an insurance company.
Oh man.
So he just made up an insurance company. His own, like, printed out his own paperwork for it and shit. And then when people die, he's dead now. But then when people would die at his fucking park or get injured and sue him, he would just like try to like extend the fucking lawsuits as long as possible. Just make them last as long as possible, and then just not pay the people.
Bro, so he's smart too.
Yeah, well, he came from Wall Street, so he was really good. Like I think one of his best friends is one of the people that got in trouble for selling like penny stocks. Like, have you ever seen the movie Wolf of Wall Street?
Some of it.
But yeah, he's one of those guys.
I don't watch things I don't understand. Like stocks.
That one's tough to understand.
Yeah.
But it's either way, it's one of those guys, one of those super smart guys that they say super smart guys. Yeah, that fucking
kind of was. Got away with it.
I guess. I'm sure his fucking kids have to pay for all the bullshit that he caused. But
that's insane. No.
And they had like these fucking slides that were going like straight down a mountain, and they were just made out of concrete. So like you had like if you fucking people were flying off them all the time.
And it was popular.
Yeah, dude. Like that was one of the big things. Like so many of the kids are always talked about how like it was like a rite of passage to go to Action Park and hurt yourself.
Oh, like a jackass type personality type people, like
sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny Knoxville made a movie about it. I think it's just called Action Park. It's literally about that documentary.
It's
literally about that same park.
Yo.
And he that's what like that was. It was like the rite of passage. Like the one guy on it was saying, he's like, yeah, when you see a kid in town like come like just one day he has a new injury, you'd be like, oh yeah, you were at Action Park, right?
Damn.
And there's like people just getting burned up on like from the fucking concrete slide and shit. Like you could just see these crazy burns on them and shit.
No.
And it's all kids running it, so they're always like after the park would close, they would all just get like drunk and high at the park and like crash there and shit.
I would
and just
work
party.
there. I would for sure work there, but I want to attend the stuff.
It's wild. It's fucking wild the shit that these guys would do. Like the shit that they designed, the rides that they got fucking kids to go down and just basically kill themselves and shit.
So wasn't that in the 80s that started?
Yeah. Or like late 70s into the 80s.
I know. I've seen a small snippet of it on TikTok that had information. But also in that snippet, I forget what water park it was, but it showed like a really horrible death. And I'm just going to talk about it because it goes along with this.
It didn't show this movie didn't show any death. There was no. It didn't show. You would see some of the they would show like some of the burns people would get. They would show some of the injuries and stuff, but they never showed anybody die. And even some of the worst injuries they would do. They had animations that they would show.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't even. It's not a graphic fucking. It's not something that you're going to be shocked watching. It's just you watch it, and you're like, well, this is just fucking nuts that somebody did all this shit.
It is nuts. That's fucking insane. But so. It was like those tube rides that like your whole family can fit in a tube and you just go whatever. So I guess it was like on a hill and the thing broke to slow down it. So these two like hit each other and the one in the back flipped over and they got stuck underneath. And like the two kids got out, but the one, it was so crazy. The one like drowned because their head's underwater. And then the one on the other side got trapped in the belt. And they, like, showed animation on how that would look. And I'm like, I love roller coasters. I love water park. Like, I love that shit. But I'm like,
it's crazy, man. Like, especially going to one that's not regulated very well. Like
yeah, like, I would go to Six Flags. I don't even like Knoebels that much, but I go there sometimes. Dorney Park, Disney, like, stuff like that. But, like, I would never go to, like, an underground, like a town, you know what I mean? Like one that's basically a carnival,
got our own water park.
Yeah, like no, fuck yourself.
I like to assume that the regulations are a little better than they were back then.
Well, of course, yeah.
Like hear them talk about it. It sounds so intense.
I watched a doc on a roller coaster that was more recent, where these people died on it because the thing broke, and they just. So they lied, like they never checked what they needed to check before, because, I mean, if you do something all the time. You're going to like 9 chances out of 10 it's probably still going to be fine. Well, this one time was it, and it killed so many people. And this was recent. I forget what it was called. I know it was a yellow and black roller coaster, but I was just like, dude, why am I watching this shit?
Did you see the video that was going around online it was probably only a month ago maybe, of one of those carnival rides? It's the one where everybody sits in, they're all facing out, and it just goes like up and around that. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this video? You know what I'm talking about?
I might go on.
Like it wasn't strapped down properly,
and it's just
like as it's going around, it's just like shaking. Like it looks like it's gonna tip over. So a bunch of the patrons that are walking by all run up and hold it down.
I have seen this. It just looked, it's insane. Or I watched on that same thing with the roller coaster, the things that like fling you up in the air by straps. Broke right before, and it showed like the condition of all the ropes, like they were all frayed and stuff, like gross, and they were just gonna let them go, and it broke, and it came literally this close from just snapping the girl's neck. Like they didn't fling her up, thank God, but it was terrifying. I'm like, I don't want to do any of this.
Well, there was one where a little girl got both of her fucking feet cut off because of a fucking cable that snapped and whipped around and cut off her fucking feet.
That's basically what would happen to this girl's head. And then another thing that we saw on TikTok was a girl's foot. You know how they always say keep your hands and feet in until the ride stops?
Yeah.
She put her foot out, got caught. And it just shows like all these firemen, like it was full of people trying to get her foot out. But do you move it? Like, what the fuck do you do? Like,
well, you listen to the fucking instructions.
Like that.
That's for goddamn sure.
Oh my God. I hurried up and like scroll past it. But I'm like, dude, no.
Amusement park rides are nuts.
Yeah, like the things we do to get a thrill, but like, fuck, bro.
It's white people shit, man. Have you ever seen the videos of where the fucking people running the rides will fuck with the people? Like, really? Tell them that the equipment's malfunctioning right before sending them off.
I've seen, yeah.
Be like, oh, there's something. Your seatbelt's broke, and then send the fucking machine off.
I would murder.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that would be so fucking scary.
I would murder somebody if they did that to me. I would get off the ride and then kill them. Be like, you get on, and I'm going to make sure your seatbelt doesn't fucking work, you bitch.
All right, what's your number one?
Okay. So I remember the last one. I'm like, we need to do one where I can talk about this documentary. And then you said, that's why in the chat I was all happy about, yes, we can do documentaries. Because Abducted in Plain Sight.
I had a feeling that was going to be on your list.
I'm like,
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh my god, dude! Well, I'm about to spoil it for you. You should still watch it because
that family Mormon?
They were Christian.
They were Christian?
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking they were Mormon. Seems like a Mormon thing to do. Let a guy
Idaho.
Fuck your daughter.
Okay, so I mean, it's more than that. So, anyways, so this family friend, his name is Robert Birchtold, whatever. I wrote this on my iPad, so my writing might just fucking suck, but I think it's Birchtold. Anyway, so this 12-year-old girl named Jan. This all started in 1974, just so we're all aware. And it lasted until she was 6 fucking teen. So, do the math. I don't want to do it. Anyways, so Abducted in Plain Sight happened in Idaho, 1974. This girl, Jan. So they're still alive, and they fucking, like, she wrote a book, a memoir called Stolen Innocence. But honestly, my opinion is they're fucking dumb. Like, so what's his name? Robert. He fucks the mom and has the dad suck his dick so he can use that as blackmail. And then he had, like, this little interest in the 12-year-old Jan, and basically gains the family's trust. Like, he becomes a family friend, goes to gatherings with them, goes to their house all the time, plays board games, and like he would, I don't know what happened first. This definitely had to have happened first. So she would be asleep, and he was like a psychiatrist, he said, and he would tell the family, like, I'm gonna go lay in with her and like record her to like figure out like do some fucking shit, like figure out her, like, that's what he said.
Why did they think he was a psychiatrist? Just because he said he was?
Yep. Just because he said it. And he would actually molest her while she's sleeping.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
that's why he wanted to sleep with that little girl?
That's why he wanted to stop being sarcastic. You're right. But, like, he really molested her, and he would, like, record, like, it was so fucked up. So, anyways, eventually, what happened was he got the balls to be like, he has the plan. He recorded this shit. He's like, he was a photographer, too. He was a man of many talents. Was a photographer. He's like, I'm gonna take Jan to go do some like photos on horses. We're gonna go to the stable or whatever. And they're like, oh, of course, be back by dinner. And then I'm gonna talk like they're dumb, because they're dumb.
Yeah, they're fucking retarded.
I do not care what their justifications are, because they do it.
Wouldn't it be more satisfying if they were just like, we're really stupid, guys?
Yeah,
like,
I would have been
instead of
happier.
trying to like explain any of it, just being like, we're dumb, we're really, really stupid people. We probably don't deserve to have kids.
I've literally never done this, but in this, I've paused it so many times throughout to just be like, what the fuck? Like, do I want to go on? Like, this is going to drive me insane how stupid they are. So anyways, he takes Jan to the fucking... He drugs her. He makes her take pills, drugs her. Then she wakes up tied to, like, a bed in a camper with this recording next to her, aliens that he recorded, saying that she has to conceive a kid before she turns 16, or her dad gets taken by these aliens, or vice versa, and the sister dies, one or the other. One of them dies, one of them gets abducted.
So I didn't watch this documentary.
Yep.
Do you think that he went through all of this stuff because he like enjoyed, not just because he enjoyed fucking a little girl, but because he enjoyed like the whole setup and the chase and everything?
He went pretty hard, so I think it's all of it.
Yeah, it's because I mean these people seem pretty stupid. It seems like he went through way more than he really had to.
He literally could have just kept doing the whole "I'm a psychiatrist, let me sleep in the bed with your daughter."
Yeah, like he didn't have to go full like alien or anything like that. Like it seems so elaborate for what he was able to accomplish with nothing.
That's not even all of it. He punches a window to the car that he was driving before they got into this camper, so it looks like he got beat up too, because she falls back asleep because she's still drugged, right? Wakes up untied, like she's not tied up anymore. He's on the couch bed thing in like the living part of the camper, and she walks out and he's all fucked up. He's like, whoa, what happened? And then really he did it all because he's, oh my god, it was insane.
Did they have interviews with the girl?
Yeah, she wrote a memoir called, I said it in the beginning, Stolen Innocence, the Jan whatever story. And she's talking about, like, I was 12. Yo, when I was 12, I wasn't that stupid. If I saw Stranger Danger, like, well, he was a family friend, I guess not.
What year was it?
74. Yeah, 19.
Yeah, back then it wasn't.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
We're not
people
exposed,
didn't know about, kids didn't know about getting fucked. Like,
yeah, dude, for real though, when I was
that was back in the days where it was like it takes a city to raise a kid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like where like everybody was told like trust your neighbors and like it's okay for you to just wander around, or if a neighbor asks you to go into their house, just go in because they're your neighbor. They can't be bad.
That's true. That's religious shit right there. That's why. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into that. So, anyways, they start having sex. She falls in love with him. Like they fuck. They went to Mexico. So he could get away with it because at the time Mexico didn't have any laws against that. They go to Mexico. He finally does get arrested though, I think for kidnapping her. So that's good. And then they take her back, but she's pissed now. She's like, I'm in love with this Robert dude. I want him back.
If I don't have this baby, aliens are gonna take over.
Yeah, like in the back of her mind. So she's like depressed. Like her sisters are also in this doc. And they're like, yeah, she was just so depressed. Like, wham. And I'm like, yo, y'all are fucking stupid. So anyways, she runs away and goes back down to Mexico.
All the way to Mexico?
Yeah, she goes back down to him. They still, I don't fucking know. Then he like blackmails the parents saying like, yo, I fucked your wife. Yo, your husband sucked my dick. Then it's like all this stuff and they're like trying to justify all that.
It's so funny.
You watch them justify it and I'm like,
I mean, he just seemed really sad and he needed relief. So
yes, basically.
I put his dick in my mouth.
Yeah. I was curious, you know, it's 1974. We don't have like gay porn at our fingertips. He was so good to
me and my family.
Yeah.
You know, he treated my 12-year-old daughter nice while he fucked her.
And all the other sisters are like, they were jealous. They explained how they didn't understand why he talking about this is triggering me again because I'm about to just pause myself and be like, what the fuck? But anyways, so they just like, she finally, when she turned 16, she was going to kill herself. Jesus. Or she got a gun. I don't know if she was going to kill her sister to get it over with. Some happened. But then she came to the realization, all this is fake. I turned 16. Nothing happened. And that's it. That's how she came to the realization that the aliens were fake. And it was
then
Robert.
I went to my parents. I said, Dad, I think he might not be a nice guy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know that guy that whose dick you sucked? He might be a bad guy. He might not be okay.
Dude, the dumbest stuff. Like, if you want to laugh and also be frustrated and just try to understand dumb people, watch that documentary. Because I really just want to talk about it to get off my chest. Because it's just so much dumb and
so much stupidity
in one video. I like couldn't fathom it, and that got a lot of hype. That got so much hype. That came out in I think 2019.
I mean, yeah, I know a lot lot and I've never seen it.
Yeah,
so.
It was to get abducted twice.
People were talking about that blowjob thing for like on every podcast I listened to at the time that it came out. They were talking about like that blowjob incident.
He looks like he would do it too. Like.
I mean,
it checks out. But no, like I
was just trying to be a good guy.
They were all like interviewed, the family and stuff, and the sister's like, we don't understand why he didn't like us as much, and it's like, you're welcome. Like, be happy about it.
It's like they're still upset about it to this
What's
day.
that syndrome where like you mentioned
Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah, that's what she kept blaming it on. I'm like, No, I just think you're stupid. I'm not going to blame it on anything. You were actually dumb.
You don't get to have a disease.
Yeah, you don't get that. You were dumb I get you were 12, but 4 years of stupidity is more than just that syndrome. I'm just saying. Anyways, what's your number one?
Well, this leads in nice. My number one is a documentary called Dumb. It's
that does.
It's about Big Brother magazine and when Big Brother magazine started and how Big Brother how Big Brother led right into the Jackass TV series.
I don't know what Big Brother is.
It was a skateboard magazine in the 90s.
Okay.
And it's basically everybody that was in Jackass got discovered through Big Brother magazine.
So it wasn't Bam?
Yes.
So, okay, I just thought like most of Jackass got famous through Bam. Because wasn't he kind of popular first?
No. They actually, they found Bam when he was 13 years old. And he was just like, well, they started doing, it was a skateboard magazine. They would take pictures and like, but they would just like post pictures of guys doing tricks. They came up with the whole, I don't know if you've ever looked at a skateboard magazine before, but they used to do this film roll thing where they would show like, they would film somebody doing a trick, and then they would show like take clips of the film.
Oh yeah.
As they're doing, they invented that.
Oh, okay.
And what happened was they did that, but it was just a kid failing the trick every time. And they wanted to run this in Trans World Skateboard. It's just another skateboard magazine. And at the end of it, they just had a picture of the kid holding a gun to his head, like he couldn't get the trick, so he was going to kill himself. And they refused. Trans World Skateboard were like, we can't run that ad. They're like, we cannot run that ad.
Good.
It was for the guy owned World Industries, and since they told him he couldn't run the World Industries ad, he was like, well, fuck you, I'm going to make my own magazine. And that's where Big Brother came from. Oh. And they just started making their own magazine, and they got they were like the first magazine too that like started to get away from skateboarding. They would have their own articles written that weren't about skateboarding, but they would try to do like crazy offensive stuff, like teaching kids how to do drugs and teaching people, like they had like a whole article because every other skateboard magazine started doing like how to do an ollie, how to do a kickflip. So they were like, okay, we'll do how to kill yourself. And they had like a whole article. That? Kind of, yeah. It was just like Jackass. They were just doing outlandish things, usually involving like shit and piss, just to be funny. They were just being outlandish just to be funny. Yeah, Bam ruined his own life.
Yeah, he did. He's awful.
But yeah, and this movie kind of shows like an introductory to like all of at least the main Jackass guys, like Bam and Steve-O and Chris Pontius and Johnny Knoxville, and like how they all got involved with Big Brother and how they turned Big Brother into Jackass. And also, it's more about Big Brother than it is Jackass because it goes back to like what Big Brother did after Jackass and shit like that.
Oh,
but
that's cool. I might watch this actually.
It's pretty good. It's really, really good.
What's it on?
Hulu.
All of mine are on Netflix. If anybody want to know.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. It's a Hulu documentary, and it's got interviews with like the old school skaters I used to watch when I was a kid. Chad Muska and Mike V. Jonah Hill does interviews in it because apparently he used to be a really big fan of Big Brother magazine, and
he made that skateboard video. Like that movie about skateboarding.
Yeah, I want to watch that movie. I haven't seen it yet.
Me too.
But yeah, he was a big. I guess he was big into Big Brother, and that's basically. And what happened was they started after they started running out of ideas for what they wanted to put in their magazine. They started going on these tours where they would just pile into a van. There's like 5 or 6 of them that worked at this magazine as writers and editors and whatever. Photographers, and they would just pile into a fucking van all together and then just drive across the country and just do Jackass style shit, and skateboard and just like find places to skate and shit. And that's cool. What they started making the magazines off of, because they were like, oh, we realized we could make a couple of magazines off of one trip across the country. And that was when they found Bam. It was in like 94 or 95, they went to Philly, and they heard about this 13-year-old kid whose dad used to just like take him to skate spots and take him to places he wanted to skate, and it was Bam and Phil.
He's only like 13 years older than me.
What?
Because if that was like 95, that means he's 13, only 13. But he looks so old now. Bam.
I mean, I don't know if I got the year right.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying, like, he's not much older. I mean, I'm like,
13 years older than you is 40.
Yeah, he looks... He's rough. Anyways.
But yeah, that's how they found Bam. They found Steve-O the same way. Like, Steve-O was a fan of Big Brother. He found out they were in the area, so he came to them and was like, I'll light my hair on fire and do a backflip if you guys let me hang out with you.
He's fucking crazy.
Yeah. They all are. I can't wait for Jackass 4. I cannot wait for Jackass 4.
I'm happy Bam's not in it.
I kind of wish he was. He was always my favorite.
Yeah, but now.
Yeah, but
I love Johnny
he's still always just one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Big Brother magazine started making videos of these tours after they realized like how much like content they could get just from making videos, and that's what started after Bam saw those videos and he got a little bit older. He was like, "Oh, I want to do this now." So he started doing CKY, and then Jeff Tremaine, who was an editor at Big Brother, like started noticing like, oh, we could make a whole fucking TV show out of this, and that's what started Jackass. And like he got a hold of MTV. He got a hold of MTV and pitched the show idea, and the first season was just a compilation of the Big Brother videos and the CKY videos that Bam was doing, and that's what became Jackass.
I loved Bam when I was younger. Like, I literally watched that all day, like, because it used to be so popular when I was younger, and then he treated his parents like shit. Like, he was just insane. And then, like,
his whole thing was treating his parents like shit.
His uncle, Don Vaughn. What was his uncle?
Don Vito.
Yeah. Dude, he was a piece of shit, but funny. That shit was so good.
He had to go on probation for, like, grabbing a 16-year-old's boobs.
Yeah, he was...
Like, you can find, like, pictures of him online just, like, feeling up chicks that wanted a picture with him.
Yeah.
Like, because he'd be like, yeah, I'll take a picture. Then once they came over, he'd just be like, ah! Like, every time.
I don't know. It's sad to see what has happened to him, but it is his own shit. But Johnny Knoxville's doing good, and he's my favorite. Steve-O's doing really good.
Yeah.
Like, Steve-O got out of it because he was rough in drugs, right? Like, they all just got in bad drugs.
He was doing real bad for a while, but not even all of them, though. Like, you never hear about, like, Wee Man. That's another one they introduced where they talk about Wee Man's backstory. But he was always like, nobody was ever like, I'm really worried about Wee Man. He always seemed real cool. Last time I heard Wee Man doing a podcast, I think it was with Rab himself, and he was talking about how he just bought like a $500,000 van that he could just live in, and it had like a toilet and a shower and everything, and he was just like driving around the fucking country in this Sprinter van that was decked out for him to live in.
Dude, that's sick. That's my dream.
Going places and skateboarding with kids and shit. He was always he started like some program where he can get other little people that are skateboarders, try to get them sponsorships and stuff. It's pretty. Like, I
forgot about him, honestly, but
Wee Man?
Yeah.
Wee Man's a shit.
Who
man.
else? I mainly just like Steve-O.
They don't talk about Preston Lacey, Aaron McGeehee, or Dave England.
What about the one that died in Ryan?
They don't talk about him that much either.
I loved him too. I was sad when that happened.
But yeah, they go over Chris Pontius. He got his start writing for Big Brother. Spike Jonze is in it, and Spike Jonze has become a pretty successful director now. He fucking directed Her and Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh, word!
And he got his start with Big Brother. He was like friends with Johnny Knoxville. Oh, in the best part of the fucking movie, best part of the documentary, Johnny Knoxville's first thing that he did for Big Brother was self-defense testing.
Really?
He tested, he got sprayed with pepper spray. He got hit with a stun gun. He got hit with like the ones that shoot the things into it. He did that. And then he bought a bulletproof vest and shot himself in the chest.
Oh my God.
It is the most intense scene I've ever watched. Even being like watching it and knowing Johnny Knoxville's fine, and he made it out of it.
You're like, fuck.
You're still
Did
like
he
my hand
willingly
started sweating. Yeah, he put the vest on and pointed like his friend was gonna do it, was gonna shoot him, but his friend was at like when it came down to the wire, he was like, I don't want to do this, dude. I think this is a bad idea.
Wow,
bro. It's so tense, and he uses a revolver. You know how a revolver works? It spins around.
Yep.
So he put the bullet in, so it was at the barrel right away. So when he pulled the trigger, it spun one. Oh. So he had to, like, he's standing there holding it like, okay, I'm going to shoot myself. Pulls the trigger and it just clicks. And they're like, you got to shoot it all the way around now. You got to fucking pull it. So it's literally his friends off screen going, his name's PJ. It was before he started going by Johnny Knoxville. So his friends off screen are like, PJ, let's just go. Let's just go. Let's not do this. This is a bad idea. And he's sitting there like pulling, like shaking, like pulling the trigger, like click, click. And he's just got to click all the way around.
How many
5
are there?
fucking times.
Yeah, 6. Yeah, okay.
Until he finally, like, even, like I said, knowing Johnny Knoxville and knowing that he made it out alive, I was watching it and my hands were sweating.
Bro,
I was like, this is the most intense thing I've ever fucking seen. And just hearing his friends off camera, just like, PJ, let's just fucking go. Why are we doing this? Let's fucking go. What he said was he moved to Los Angeles to try and become an actor.
There it is.
And failed at acting. And at this point, he was already in his 30s, and his girlfriend got pregnant. And he was like, I need to do something to make money. I need to figure out a way to make money because now I have a fucking kid on the way.
How old is Johnny Knoxville?
Old as shit.
Has to be in his 50s, right?
Maybe even close to 60.
Yeah, he's getting up there. That Grandpa movie he did. What is it called? Bad Grandpa?
I didn't watch it.
I loved it. I just love Johnny Knoxville. Like, he's funny.
He's a funny guy.
He's pretty cute.
I never liked any of his movies. I just liked Jackass.
Wasn't he like gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
Yeah, I hate that movie.
The Ringer was okay. Did you ever see The Ringer?
No.
Where he pretended to be retarded?
No.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but I haven't
it's
seen
the episode of South Park.
Yeah.
It's literally the episode of South Park turned into a movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it though, but I've seen the Bad Grandpa one or whatever, and that is good. The little boy in it is perfect. Like, he really is perfect for them.
I have never watched it. I never even considered watching it. I thought it looked stupid.
It is. You wouldn't like it. You would not like it, but it is pretty funny.
But yeah, I can't wait for Jackass 4 to come out. I'm fucking so pumped for it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
It's gonna be so, like, they've never done anything bad. Like, in my eyes, they've never failed. No. So I know it's gonna be good.
Yep. I'm excited. I saw it. I'm like, and I'm happy Bam's not in it. I think he's dramatic now though. Like, he's just.
Well, he's bipolar.
Oh my god.
he's constantly having like manic episodes.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Watching him on Dr. Phil was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Knowing Dr. Phil's fake as fuck, first of all. Secondly, like, the way he just reacts to shit, like it's always his wife or his mom's fault, and it's like, no, dude, he's need manic. Help.
He need help. His entire Dr. Phil appearance was a manic episode.
Yeah, it was so bad. Oh my
God. He's got mental issues.
Yeah, can't hate, but like, get help, like, or he's gonna be the one we're gonna see like gone next. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I just already anticipate that.
Yeah, that sucks though. Like, he can get help. He has money.
Money doesn't mean shit, though.
You can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped.
Like, that's just a clear indication that money won't fucking
buy happiness.
It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. No, you're right. But it's just like, you can't help anybody that doesn't want to help themselves, and he does not want to help himself.
It's just tough, like, when you hear him make the argument of, like, I've been paid my whole life to be a fuck-up and a jackass, and now they're telling me I can't be a part of Jackass because I'm a fuck-up and a jackass.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's really, like, you hear that, that's a solid argument.
Wow, that's good.
It's a solid argument of, like, well, they're making a movie where he's supposed to just be doing everything that he's always been doing.
Well, it's like a fuck up as in physically. Like, you're just injuring yourself. You're, like, mentally not okay. Like, you need to help yourself before...
Yeah, before going in and like completely destroying yourself.
Yeah, it is a good argument, but also like it's different. Like, yeah, you're a fuck up physically, but now you're mentally fucked up, and you need to get that checked before you can physically fuck up again. Like,
you got to give all those guys credit for being in like the mental state that they're in. Yeah, like it's crazy that Bam's the only one that's completely lost his mind.
Steve almost did, but he got
but
married.
He's so
and shit,
good
right?
now, though.
Yeah,
like he's like on another level of like, even though he's still doing all that crazy shit,
he's like at peace.
Yeah,
he's happy.
Like, it's weird how like good his life seems to be going.
The girl he's with, he explained on Hot Ones, like now he's vegan. Like, she's vegan, and he, like, because he had the tofu shit on that.
Yeah.
And, like, he's, like, doing so much better. He still puts, like, hot sauce in his eyes. He's still...
Yeah, and he did, like, a fucking thing where he went skydiving while jerking off.
Yeah.
And, like...
and that's just true happiness. But, like, I don't know.
I mean, good for him. They're all, like, even Johnny Knoxville. You never hear crazy shit about Johnny Knoxville.
And he's
or
still
Chris
acting.
Pontius.
Yeah, he acts still. Well, he did for a while. Like, I think it's just a personality thing. Like, you have to have the right personality to be able to do that shit. And Bam was just a skateboarder who got into, like, they did funny shit, but, like, Steve-O was the one that did the most fucked up shit.
Ryan Dunn did a lot of fucked up shit.
That's true.
He was the one that when everybody else said no, Ryan Dunn was the one that was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Didn't they say that he'd definitely die in a car wreck eventually? Like, they would always say that about him?
Yeah, and like the CKY documentary, the whole fucking thing, they have like a whole little like 10-minute section where they just show like pictures of cars that Ryan Dunn smashed and crashed, and they were just like, that's how he's gonna die. He's gonna die in a car. And then it happened. I remember when my mom told me, like, did you hear one of those jackass guys died in a car accident? I didn't even have to ask who. I was like, oh, Ryan Dunn's dead then.
Oh, yeah.
Like, right away, I was like, that's what happened. Like, no way was it anybody else besides Ryan Dunn.
Damn. Who's the dude that kind of runs Jackass? Like, what's his name?
Jeff Tremaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one he used to be the editor for Big Brother.
Oh, okay. He's funny. I kind of like him.
Yeah, he's done a lot on MTV. Like, everything Rob Dyrdek's done, he was a part of. He did Nitro Circus.
You know, I loved Rob Dyrdek I loved Robin Big.
Rob Dyrdek's in Dumb. He does a lot of interviews in Dumb.
He's a good person. Like, I did like a PowerPoint presentation about Rob Dyrdek, but now it's just like ridiculousness takes over MTV, and it frustrates me so much that
the show sucks.
He makes a living off of like other people's like videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
that's literally what it is.
He's not that funny.
Yeah, he's not.
Like,
but he is a good person.
And neither is Chanel West Coast or Stilo Brim.
They're
both
Chanel.
Just boring. They're all three of them are just boring people when it comes to that. Like, I have a lot of respect for Rob Dyrdek because he started the Street League skateboarding, and that was like the first skateboarding, like street skateboarding event that was like geared towards making money for skateboarders.
I love him.
Street skateboarders.
I love him as a person. Like, he does so much for charity. He's so nice.
Yeah, he does. He has that charity where he builds skate parks all over the country. He's built like thousands of skate parks all over the country.
I love his cousin too, Drama. Like, whatever his real, I think his real name's Chris. I don't know. But
yeah, he did the Daddy's Lambo beat.
Yep, and he has the Young and Reckless clothing line, which is good clothing. But like, I don't know, like, I love Rob Dyrdek, but now he's just kind of like a sellout kind of. Like, you don't hear much about him other than ridiculousness. Now they have 2 spins off of that called Adorableness and Deliciousness.
Rob Dyrdek and
no, it's different hosts, but they're like spins off of it, like on MTV, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, well, I guess Rob Dyrdek was in the first Big Brother video. It was called
really?
Shit.
Huh.
Their videos were called Shit, Crap, Poop, and Boob.
That's funny. No, I love Rob Dyrdek though. But yeah, I'll watch that, and I want to watch the theme park one that you said too.
Yeah, the theme park one's really, really great. Dumb is, I think, theme park one, the Class Action Park. That's good for anybody.
Yeah.
If you like Jackass, I would suggest watching Dumb.
Yeah.
If you don't like Jackass, then don't watch Dumb.
I grew up with all of them, so it's going to be interesting to me.
But yeah, I would say if you are a fan of Jackass and all that, you should watch. Like, I would say watch that one before Class Action Park.
Yeah, I probably will.
You're gonna feel like you're gonna feel closer to it because you already know these people, and then when when they come up on screen, you're like, oh, it's Wee Man.
Yeah, you'll know
because they kind of hold it all. Like, they don't really show a Steve-O interview until he shows up in the whole storyline of it, and then it's like, oh, and now it's like, and that's what they do.
I like that.
They do more interviews with the other people. Like, they kind of put Jackass on the back of it.
That's good.
And they want to tell everybody else's story.
Yeah, that's good though, because I like that. I'm gonna watch that.
It's really good. Well, that was everybody's top 3 documentaries. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Peace.